Hello, hello. There's often a little bit of a delay here, so it looks like we're live. Awesome. So, this past couple of weeks, I have dove in deep into some hyper-focused creative time. And so in the past couple of weeks, I guess past 3 weeks, I spent a long weekend completely updating my Threadless store and creating all of these awesome new t-shirt designs and other products. And my plan was to launch all that and share it throughout the last couple of weeks. And I did all that as a part of a promotion to help support Janelle Woodleaf and her new radical self-care community. And so I definitely want to be sharing more about that. The sale goes until April 24th. And so there's still time to buy stuff through the Threadless shop, and anything on the Threadless store or in my store in general, it's all on sale, and anything that you buy from there, half of the proceeds will go towards Janelle Woodleaf's self-care community. So if you don't already know, Janelle is a massage therapist and she's creating a self-care community online. And she's also a single mom full time. So she's navigating this situation that we're all navigating all on her own with loss of income. So her work is very powerful and I think very important, and so I really want to support that. So check out Janelle Woodleaf. I will share a little bit of information about her community. It would be great if you could also consider joining her community if you are interested in working more towards your own self-care. So that was what I did a couple of weeks ago as we launched at the beginning of the month, I guess. Ooh, I'm losing track of time. But anyway, so I spent that whole weekend diving deep into doing that. And then the following week, I discovered Doodly, which is a doodle video animation. And I was researching it because I was listening to Colin Seal's episode, and he's such a fabulous storyteller. I just thought this really needs to be animated. And so I went home and I Googled it, and I found the Doodly animation was on sale for a one-time fee. So I went ahead and got it, and I kind of figured out some hacks to get it to work for me with their limitations for the basic version. And I came up with a style that really I'm kind of loving. I'm using a certain combination of different programs to put all the images together and picking the right timing, picking the right story. And so now I've actually made 6 videos of Embracing Intensity shorts, powerful stories from the podcast, and I will continue to do that as I go back. I'm kind of starting with ones that I already had transcribed and picking stories from those, and then I'm going to go back to some more stories, really with a focus on twice exceptionality, but also just generally relatable stories to my audience. And what I love about it is that it gives me another form of expression that is both creative and also more accessible, because I know a lot of times people aren't having the time anymore to sit down and listen to a full podcast because I don't know about you, but I listen mostly on my commutes. And so I get a little bit of listening in here and there. I got to listen to Ariana Bradford's podcast, The Not Your Average Mom, and Nyam Project, which is a great new podcast. So you should check that out as well. And for the most part, though, downloads have gone down as people are home more because a lot of times people are out there on their not listening because they're not out on their commute. So um, these videos are a great way to get just a short little 3 to 4 minute story with animation, and they're really great things to watch. So that's pretty awesome. And while I was doing that, I decided I really wanted to create some videos for self-regulation lessons for kids. So I've been doing some courses on self-regulation for adults, and that's involved Zoom meetings and PowerPoint slides and that sort of thing. And I've been reworking all my workbooks for that. But I decided to take elements from those and make them more accessible for kids. And so I now have 2 self-regulation lessons on my YouTube, and I've also created a website page for those lessons that will have some physical worksheets that you can use as well. And so that's on my website at auroraremember.com/self-regulation. And I'll be trying to add to that about once a week so that I can start creating more courses or lessons that you can do with your family on self-regulation. So helping manage our emotions and that sort of thing. So take a look at that. And one of the themes that I've really noticed as I've been making all these new things um, is accessibility and creativity. Those are things that I'm just really driven towards right now. I really want to create things that are accessible to all. And I also finished my workbook on balancing time and energy and released that last week. And this week, I helped my son release for his birthday his new book called The Notebook of Mass Distraction: Boredom Busters for Busy Brains. So clearly in our household, we have been in super hyper focused creative mode the past couple of weeks. And I think, that's probably partially a coping mechanism here, being stuck at home a lot more, and it was something productive. It's a productive way of channeling our energy. So that's been really great. But the other thing that it made me realize as I talk about accessibility and creativity is that just allowing myself to do that, just allowing myself to dive deep into these creative projects made me realize that first and foremost, I am a creator. Creating things that are accessible to all is what drives me. It's what I love to do. I've been making this podcast for years, and I still have not reached a point where this podcast actually funds itself. And so for years, I keep thinking to myself, well, I should be focusing on one-on-one work. I should be doing more one-on-one work. That's where the money is. But honestly, while I love working with people one-on-one, I want my work to be accessible to more people. And that is the bottom line to my biggest resistance for pushing one-on-one services, because I know that it's not accessible to most of my audience. And so I really want to continue making things that are accessible through the podcast, through the website, my blog, the YouTube channel, all of these different mediums that I'm creating. That's what drives me. That is what I really want to keep doing, and I want to make it accessible to all. And so my community is one place where I do that, and there is a small fee to join monthly for the community, but I make it accessible through my Patreon because I have a different level of options that you can pay. It's pay what you can, and if it's ever an issue financially where you can't even pay $1 a month or whatever, you can always message me. I've had plenty of people who've done that and have joined the community. That way I can send you a link. The community is more important to me than the income. However, I do need at some point for my work to sustain itself. And so as I'm looking at wanting to create more of this content that's really connecting with people and helping share stories of twice exceptionality in a way that's accessible and shareable and helps people understand the experience of twice exceptionality and intensity and all of these things. And I feel like that is the work that I'm meant to do. That is really where the power is, because it's accessible, it's shareable, it's something that really meets my creative drive, but I definitely need support to keep doing that. So if you have any opportunity to support my work, Patreon's probably the best way to do it, because through Patreon you can also join the Embracing Intensity community, and there's multiple levels. So the community itself is $10 a month, but through Patreon you can range anywhere between $1 and $25, and the higher amounts help to support those people who can't afford as much. So if you're willing and if you value the work that I'm putting out, I would absolutely love it if you could support me through Patreon. My Patreon is Embracing Intensity, so patreon.com/embracing intensity. And I would be so eternally grateful if you could do that. It would not only help me, but it would also help free me up so that I can continue to make the content that I feel like is really making a powerful difference, especially for twice exceptional, gifted, intense, and creative people. Have a great week. Bye bye.